Hey everybody, it's Rob here. Season 11 starts just in a few days, and today we want to talk about the best leveling builds for each class, as well as the fastest strategy from 1 to 60, and then also 60 to Torment for Endgame. I've prepared a full document here. You can also follow along the written builds and the guides here on the 4 builds. You can see we have one recommended strong leveling build for each class, so you don't really have to make that big of a choice. I just think these are the most solid ones. Obviously, there's alternatives. This is just what I recommend. So let's start with the tier list here, and then we go into the leveling strategy. A quick disclaimer, guys, it really doesn't matter in the end what class you start. Just pick whatever is most fun to you. There's no wrong choice. And as you watch the times here between the fastest and the slowest levelers, it's only like 10 to 20 minutes. So instead of 2 hours, it might take you like 2 hours and 20 minutes or something. Not a big deal. The most important thing is to have fun, my friends. Coming in here on number 1 is the Evade Spiritborn. I already made a guide about this. This is just crazy fast. You have those feathers whenever you evade, blasting at everything. One thing to keep in mind, guys, that all of these builds here, they're going to start with just one skill point on level 1. If you're just starting out, you only have one skill point to use in this season 11. However, the monsters have been rebalanced to make up for that. So I think leveling, I'm going to show you some examples here in a bit, is still quite easy, and you're not really feeling weaker than before. So we have the Evade Feather Spiritborn on number 1. It's just too crazy. And then we have the Firewall Sorcerer right after. That's also crazy strong with the Hydra, with the Firewall, just blasting down. And then you can transition into one of the strongest builds here. With Evade, you can just keep staying Evade. And with the Sorcerer, you can transition into the Hydra endgame or into the Crackling Energy Sword, which is one of the strongest builds of the entire season. Then in 8th tier, right after, we always have a very strong Dance of Knives Rogue. This is like insanely strong spin to win leveling. We would transition into a Death Trap, ideally. And then you have the Minion Necromancer. And Minion has always been a very good leveling build. And what you can do in Season 11 with the Necromancer, you start with minions. So you start usually here with the Skeleton Mages. And then you can transition into one of the strongest endgame builds, which is the Golem Necromancer, like 110 plus viable. One of the new GG builds of the season, basically. So that's a hard recommend here if you have not played Necromancer before and you're interested in the class. Necromancer is not the fastest, but oh, it has a lot of DPS here with this new Golem weapon. So that's a pretty cool thing to do here, I think. And then coming in C tier here is the Hota Lunging Strike. This might make it into A tier almost. They have giga juiced a lot of the Barb stuff. They have giga juiced the Fury, the Hoda, the Lunging Strike, the Paragon nodes, the main stat scaling. It's going to help the Barb from level 1 to the end game. And then you can transition into like the pure Hoda or the pure Lunging Strike build. It's very flexible. This is most likely the build that I'm going to start as well. I'll make a separate video about this. But Hoda, Lunging, you basically just utilize both. And yeah, you get some crazy new bonuses here. You also have the full leveling path here. So that's usually like a pretty strong choice and has also very good transitions into the end game. Coming on the last place here, in my opinion, this season is the Druid. Druid has been flying very high in Season 10 with all the, like, you know, chaos powers and all this crazy stuff that the Druid had. However, now the Druid has been coming down like way to earth, and I think it's one of the weakest levelers in the game. In terms of like how you level up, there's basically 2 main strategies, and I'll talk some more details here. We also have some benchmarks. We also will talk about the capstone dungeons. But the main 2 strategies, guys, you can either go level in the Helltide. And in the Helltide, there are these divine powers now. And there's one power that gives you extra experience whenever you kill the maggots. And you can find this when fighting Duriel here. So you would basically just run around here in the Helltide and you would like fight Duriel's minions here, ideally. This is like one of the main leveling strategies we've been using in the past. You get a ton of gear, you just get a ton of stuff, and eventually, guys, you get to summon, instead of the Infernal Maiden, you see, now instead there is Duriel. So you will have to collect these hearts here in the Helltide. Like normally you open the chest with the cinders and you collect these hearts. And then you get to fight not the maiden when you summon it, but you will fight Duriel. And when you fight Duriel, that will unlock this divine power. I will show you how it looks in a bit. You see here now the King of Maggots spawns in the open world. He is pretty tanky, but I was playing on normal here. He's not really all too dangerous, right? And he also spawns like the Fangs of Duriel. And these Fangs, you'll see here in a bit, they will also give a ton of XP. So you can see like here the Fang of Duriels, like they are chasing us here. Duriel spawns, like they also give decent experience, and you just need like a decent damage. Like you see they don't really like damage me all too much. And eventually like we will be able to beat this guy. And what happens when you beat Duriel for the first time, at least on the PTR, and I think it's going to happen in the live server, you see you beat Duriel. I think first of all, you're going to get some decent XP and you're going to get some decent items. You see, boom, we got like almost 2 levels, from level 16 to level 18. It's going to drop you a Horn of Duriel. It's going to drop you a Painful Memory. It's going to drop you a ton of loot. And it will also spawn this portal up here to the Heavenly Forge. And this is where you can already start sanctifying your gear. This trophy here is going to be used later for equipment from the Asmodan boss. So you will see the portal here spawns to the Heavenly Forge, and you can go in there. And in there, you will be able to collect the reputation reward, start the reputation board, and also sanctify your first gear, which in the end is going to already give you some. Here's the reputation board. It's only going to give you some of the reputation rewards, and it's going to give you like a ton of extra loot. And it's going to unlock this maggot XP globe spawning, mechanic that we want to do. And you also, I think I did this here, sanctified like a yellow item or something. Like you just sanctify anything. And you see, I got an aspect, like they buffed this aspect even to be a damage multiplier. So I just sanctified like a yellow weapon or something. And you're going to get an aspect like very early on, ideally, or you're going to get something on there at least. I got an aspect here. So this is what the Essence of Anguish looks like. This is the divine gift here. Oh, sorry, this is not the one. This is the one here. The Essence of Squalor, where maggots in Helltide can drop experience globes. So we don't know for sure. That's why I mentioned this is the first method, because they nerfed this. They said in the dev stream that the experience globes from the maggots, like they were too crazy, and they have significantly reduced them. It just says adjusted here, so we don't really know by how much it's nerfed, right? It's still probably going to be pretty good because it was insanely overpowered. Like you got a ton of levels, like people leveled in 1 hour or something. So we don't know how much they reduced this. But if you're playing in a group or in general, if you just like want to play the game normally, I think just doing normal Helltide leveling is pretty good. But alternatively, so this is the big second alternative, you can also do campaign leveling. I recommend this specifically to solo players. You can just do normal campaign leveling. With any class, like this is like here with a Spiritborn, I'm going to have a full benchmark. I think you can level the campaign in like 1 hour, 20 minutes as well, while you still get a ton of loot and runes. So campaign leveling is still a very, very solid option. And in my interview, I asked about this, and they said they're not really looking to nerf the campaign leveling. So campaign leveling is also a very strong option, especially if you're like not as min-maxed, if you're just playing alone. I don't know if you haven't done the campaign in a long time. It's pretty chill. And you can see here, completing each quest is going to give you like a ton of experience. Like you just basically just talking to some of the vendors. It's just like here and there, just giving you like a full level. You see here, before this quest ends, I'm level 20. And then I just like, they are just yapping and I talk to one of the dudes or something. And when they are done with all the yapping, like they're just going to give me like a full level. And this is basically like every other quest here. It's just going to give you like a full level. And you can kind of see here when I remove my camera here the time, like in 19 minutes, we are already level 21. So this is pretty crazy as well. And this is the second method. I'm not really sure which one, Face, thanks again, man. I'm not really sure which one is going to end up being the best, right? Campaign is more on the safe side of things, while Helltide is more like the min-max kind of try-hard. But what you want to do, especially you want to pick a leveling guide, right? So you're just going to click on the link here, and you're basically going to choose like whatever the class is you want to do. You just choose a leveling guide. And this season, I recommend starting on normal if you are like the average player. on hard if you're like really experienced, but then you don't need this video, right? So for most of you guys, it's probably best to start in normal. Obviously, you want to create a seasonal character, start the game, equip your pets. And when you create a seasonal character, you have this button up here. I'm in the game right now. Change campaign state. So if you really want to do campaign start, it's very important to select this middle option. You want to start with the Vessel of Fate campaign. You don't want to start with the normal campaign. So if you want to do Helltide, you can do this. If you want to do campaign, you do the middle part. You never do this top part. And the good thing is, even if you select that you want to do the campaign, you can always skip it later, right? So if you, for whatever reason, you only want to do half the campaign, but then you still want to get all your waypoints unlocked, you can, at any point, you can still decide to skip the campaign. When you go back to your character select, it's going to have a button down here that says skip the campaign. So you can always skip it even after. So if you're not sure, I recommend, setting the campaign state to not completed, because you can always change this to be completed in the end, but not vice versa. So very important here. In the beginning, if you have the Vessel of Fate expansion, you obviously want to grab your mercenary if you're playing solo. This is going to level the rapport. It's going to give you a ton of gear with the bartending and all this kind of stuff. You want to start the seasonal quest line. Even if you're doing the campaign, you still want to start the season quest, like I showed you before, to get the reputation, to get the reputational board and all this kinds of stuff here. And you can also like craft an elixir early on if you like do Raising Spirit side quest in Kyovashat, or you collect some herbs. And then usually I recommend going into Helltide. If you're not doing the campaign, you go Helltide and you focus on summoning Duriel. So you will basically need to, start collecting these materials here, like just start trying to get the mats and start trying to get the ambushes here. You see even these ambushes here, like they often like spawn little maggots basically, and the XP is pretty solid in all of this. So you want to be just focusing on doing Helltides basically, and summoning Duriel. Then you get the essence here. It's in all the leveling builds. It's this essence here. Very important to have this one. Maggots in Helltide drop XP globes. Again, it's nerfed, but it's probably still pretty strong. And you just want to keep going like this, put the purified slot. The class quest will complete automatically. Basically, I'm going to zoom out a bit. And then we get into the territory after the first Helltide, or after some part of doing the campaign. You are faced with when you're doing your first capstone, right? I have a full overview of the capstones. I'm probably going to make a separate video. The first capstone is located down here in Havazar. You can see here, this is the icon. Can't show you in-game right now because obviously the season isn't live yet. But it's level 30. I recommend you do it when you're a bit higher than 30. It's not really a crazy like breakpoint or something. It's not like you're going to get like a ton more XP or something after this capstone dungeon. The capstone dungeon is just there to give you additional skill points and to unlock parts in your season journey. But I would always recommend to be a bit higher level before you do it. So probably after the first Helltide is over, if you're level 30 something, maybe even level 40, then I think in the downtime, the 5 minutes downtime, you want to salvage your gear, you want to min-max. And you could do the capstone dungeon, right? Like in the first capstone dungeon here is in Havazar. I recommend level 35. I mean, if you're level 32, it's fine. If you're level 37, it's also fine, You get the skill points there. And that's my recommendation. And then you basically keep doing Helltides. The capstone dungeon is not really that hard, but at level, like, at low level, it's just not worth doing because it doesn't really give enough to warrant you wasting time there. And then you just keep doing Helltides basically. And then once you are 50, so second Helltide probably, you can decide, am I going to do all the strongholds? You guys remember like the strongholds, they give a ton of XP. Just like skip the long strongholds, especially the ones in the Hantu. And basically go from there. Alternatively, guys, you can also do the Kuras Undercity. You're going to get quite some legendary items and quite some runes there. That's also an alternative if you want to like do something different. If Strongholds is too boring, you can also do the Kuras Undercity, or you just keep doing Helltide. Like I think the most efficient is just you keep doing Helltide if the maggots are still pretty solid. But if not, Strongholds and Kuras Undercity, are a decent alternative. I wish I could tell you like 100%, but Blizzard doesn't really put any numbers. Like we will only be able to test it when we actually play. They only say adjusted. We don't know if it's 50%, if it's 60%, if it's 10% less, like who knows? If it's 10% less, it's still going to be insanely good. And then you don't want to do anything of the other stuff. But you just have to decide this as you go, right? And then I personally will play with a team, and I think my strategy for the second capstone, this is the Hellish Descent capstone dungeon. It's located here in Scotland. You see this yellow marker here. You will see this in the game as well. This is recommended level 50. I will personally most likely do this when I'm already level 60. So I'm going to be hitting level 60, and then I will do this capstone dungeon. Because at the end of this capstone, I think we have Elias. And if you guys remember, the Elias guy, maybe I can show this to you. Like, this is Butcher, you're fighting like the Burning Butcher, and you're fighting Elias at the same time, basically. So yeah, here, it's this fight here. I mean, for us, the fight was kind of okay, but the fight can be pretty dangerous if you, if you don't know his mechanics, if you don't know what you're doing. Like, people have been feeding on this guy in the past, and there's also like this, I mean, we had like pretty decent damage. You see here, we're like level 53, and this is a 50 dungeon. It was kind of okay, you know. But you see, like, he can get pretty dangerous, and I think at some point, yeah, here, at some point, he also spawns a Burning Butcher that's like basically chasing you. See here? Like, he's coming at you with everything he has. So you want to be, like, kind of careful here, because you might be squishy at this point. And yeah, especially if you're like a beginning player, I recommend you be a bit higher level and not level 50 when you do this dungeon. But eventually, like, you'll beat this. And I have the full like videos here. It's also all in the sheet here. All the benchmarks, everything. We have like a time benchmark, a leveling benchmark for all the steps. And then after you've done this, guys, there's another very important change. Getting to Torment 1, you definitely want to be changing to Penitent. You want to be doing your Temperers. You want to be doing some Imprints. Maybe you picked up some aspects, Equip your runes, gamble your obols on as high difficulty as possible. I recommend Penitent. And then a very important change that was also in the patch notes. You can now instantly start the pits. I think after you've done the capstone dungeon, it unlocks the pits. And you can instantly like do the pit even at T10. And what you can also do, even before you hit 60, you can now open the pits at like level 55 or something. If you have a very strong character, if you find like a good aspect or something, like once you're like 55 or something, you can also make the last 5 levels just by running pits. Because pits is level like the monsters, they're gonna have max level, they're gonna have level 60. But if you're level 55 and you have an aspect or something like a multiplier, you're going to be fine, most likely. Not recommended on hardcore, but on softcore at least. So that's a pretty cool strategy to level up kind of fast here as well. And this is a new thing. It's in the patch notes that you can open the pit in theory at level 1. But they made the monsters are level 60, so you can't kill anything. Yeah, and then you basically pick one of the endgame guides. I have a like full tier list here. And, you can just see here, like, you can just click on any character here. I don't know, like, let's say we want to play the Sorcerer, and we have like a couple of like 3 recommended endgame guides, Esadora, Sorc, Frozen Orb, or Hydra Sorc, for example. Or I don't know, you want to play Barb, and yeah, there's maybe a couple more Barb builds because I like Barb, and I'm most likely going to be playing Barb myself as well. But yeah, they're going to be every class here, and you can just follow the links and just pick an endgame guide basically, and use this sheet here. And then basically you want to like do the like next capstone dungeons like pretty quickly to get the skill points. It's a T1 capstone dungeon. It's located right here in the middle of Kyrgyzstan. So this is like Kyrgyzstan here. You see this is the big desert area basically. And this is the capstone dungeon, Unseen Awakening. It's T1 difficulty. And then the last capstone dungeon is Tempest Oasis. It's down here at Geakul, also in Kyrgyzstan. And this one is Torment 2 difficulty. So you can do this really quick, like get all the Paragon points, all the skill points from your former Renown unlocked. And then you basically want to keep blasting. One more thing that's really good to look at here is the unique loot table. So you can see here, like, I don't know, let's say I'm playing Barb. You can just, like, I don't know, I want the Ugly Bastard or something. Like, you kind of, like, know instantly, like, where you can find each item here. So this is the loot table. I'm also going to link this down below. And you also have, like, the different divine gifts here. And I think in the game, they also tell you the location. But we mainly care about the one with the maggots. This one here, the Essence of Squalor. This is like the maggots in the Helltide drop XP globes who are purified. And the purification ones is just the ones that you put in the inner ring. So you just want to make sure once you get this, that you put it in the inner ring of purification. And yeah, that's pretty much, the entire the entire strategy. And we also have a bunch of benchmarks here. For example, last season, I have the full benchmark here. We went Paragon 240. This was with a Spiritborn in just 16 hours. So this was like pretty crazy. This was last season. The link is also in the spreadsheet. So this was extremely powerful. This is group times. So obviously, if you're just playing alone, I don't think you can make it to Paragon 240 in 15 or 16 hours. It might take you a bit longer, but this was still day one. I remember I went to sleep when we were like Paragon 255 or something. So if you want to blast, if you like have fun and you want to go long, you can be like, I mean, easy Paragon 250 in your first session with these strategies then. And maybe in solo you can still be like 240 or something. Like it's going pretty crazy. And yeah, that's pretty much the strategy, guys. Hope you're gonna enjoy the season. I sure will. There's a ton of cool and viable builds here. And yeah, follow the cheat sheet. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it helps you guys. Let me know in the comments if there's some more stuff you improve or some more questions you have. I'll do my best. Maybe I can answer some more of it. Hope you enjoy, my friends. GG. Take care. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like or a comment. I'm also live on Twitch almost every day, so come and say hi.